Hi everybody, Kirsten here, and today I have a book talk for you. I'm going to be talking about one of my most anticipated books of this fall, and that is The Retribution of Mara Dyer. Hopefully you guys can kind of see it. The e-readers are a little bad on the reflection here. So I've been looking forward to this book. If any of you have watched any of my sad earlier videos before I knew what video editing was, you would see that the first book that I actually had on this channel for a book talk was The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, followed by The Evolution of Mara Dyer. Now, these books are pretty hit or miss for me. I hated the first book. I'm just going to throw that out there. I hated it the first time I read it. I just couldn't get into it. I thought it was really open-ended. I did not like the fact that there was like the token British love interest, and it was just full of stereotypical YA tropes that I just kind of can't get behind. And then I read the second book and I was like, holy crap. It was so good. And I absolutely loved it. It answered a lot of questions. It made the first book make sense. And the third book was the perfect resolution. I feel very satisfied with the ending. And so I'm just going to talk about it really quickly. If you have not read the first two books, I do not recommend watching this video because although I'm going to be spoiler free on The Retribution of Mara Dyer, I am not going to be spoiler free on the first two books because I do have to recap to talk about what this book is about. So where Evolution leaves off, Mara has just completely obliterated the Horizons. I believe it's called Horizons. Pretty sure it's Horizons. Facility because Jude had triggered her basically to collapse the building, and she wakes up in a room and there's like this list of people with this gene, and then you see at the end that someone is deceased and it's super sad. So where this book picks up, Mara is in this facility. She's in this weird in-between state where you don't know if what's going on is real or if it's going on in her head because she is seeing hallucinations, and just a whole bunch of chaos ensues. The first part of the book, within the first like 40 or so pages, it's just creepy. Like, these books get creepier as they go on, but this book is just ultimately creepy. It's a lot more graphic with the violence. It's kind of gory. It's like the way that Mara is now in this book. She's just kind of not the same character she was in the first two previous books. She is still an unreliable narrator, but as the book goes on, she kind of gains footing and is accepting what she is and her power. So it makes this book just seem a bit more well-rounded than the other two. Now, there are some crazy twists and turns in this book that I do not want to talk about. I feel like I can't even like really talk about anything with this book because it's just going to give everything away. But you find out more about this gene that they have. There are quite a few more flashbacks to her grandmother, and you find out how her grandmother progressed in this, with this gene in her body, exactly what she is and what she does and how old she ends up being. It's kind of insane. And you find out more about the other people that she meets in the past that have this gene and how her and all of these kids are interconnected because of this gene that they have inside of them that makes them who they are. And you find out a little bit more about Jude and Claire, the twins from the first book. You find a little bit more about them and why they are the way they are and why they're so entranced into this experiment, this crazy like world that she is now a part of. There's so many answers in this book. This book really just kind of ties everything up in a nice big bow. I really needed that because the first two books just gave me like such bad anxiety. Like, because you kind of have an idea of what's going on, but there's never any clear definitive answer to what's going on. So this book just kind of like wrapped it up in a nice big bow. So I'm really glad that I finally read this. I read this in one sitting, which is insane because I have not been able to do that in months, not since I started my new job and school and all of that. So I have not been able to sit down and read a book in that quickly, and I'm still reading In the Afterlight, which is kind of crazy because I've been looking forward to that book for almost a year. This was a nice, satisfying series ending book. If you have read the first 2 books and you're unsure if you want to finish the series, finish it. If you've only read the first book and you haven't read the other ones, read them because they're so good. I am so satisfied with this. I know I didn't like the first book, but if she comes out with any more books, I'm for sure going to be buying them because this book was intense and awesome and I loved it, and I loved the character development of everybody in this book, not just Mara, but everybody. The character development is so amazing. I wasn't a fan of the flashbacks in the other 2 books, but I really liked them in this book because it kind of explained more. And it is almost every other chapter is a flashback. So you get more of an idea of what is going on in the lives of these kids and why they are the way they are. So 2 thumbs up. I loved this book and I really hope the rest of you did. If there was anything that you particularly liked about this book, or you hated, or whatever it was that just made you go, what the fuck? Because I had a lot of what the fuck moments in this book. Pardon my language. I try not to swear on these, but I just totally did. Go ahead and leave a comment below and tell me what those moments were for you, because I loved this book and I just want someone to talk about them with. So everybody have a good weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.